Okay, welcome everybody to the third ChainSafe community call, headed from the whole comms and gaming department, and basically everybody that's a part of ChainSafe has a little bit to play in all of these community calls, and really glad to have all of you guys here this afternoon. Thanks for showing up. Everybody who's involved in getting these to come together. So some of our SDK updates, I'll just kind of have like a quick timeline here. We've had basically three core releases since last time that we chatted. We had in V 1.2.4, we added pagination for 721s and 1155s. And then we added auto detect of RPC settings. So this particular feature is that if a network wasn't found inside of a user's wallet, like MetaMask, then the SDK would detect that and add those in. In V 1.2.5, we added get account. This was for some Wallet Connect implementation. We've removed the legacy template, so support for Unity, the WebGL template for 2019 was removed, and we added a really light entry into the network.js files for Chronos chain for both their mainnet and testnet chains. And our latest release is 1.2.6. Still a lot more just maintenance stuff and just kind of adding little, incremental features as we go. We added a wallet modal. We had a wallet modal in before, and we added Chronos's DeFi wallet as a kind of like integrated solution. We're still kind of working and working out some of the kinks with that, and login QR code with Wallet Connect. And of course, this is an incremental update. And one of our bigger parts for this particular release and this month was our Unity asset release. So our SDK is now available on the Unity Asset Store. It is now live. You can download it and start using it. And this particular release that's inside of the Unity Asset Store is version 1.2.5. So we're still, this is kind of like out in the wild, but it's still kind of being incrementally updated. But our major support release was 1.2.5. And what we have currently for some of the upcoming stuff that we're working on deeper mobile integration support. We were working with MetaMask and having a permanent update for Android 12. We have confirmed that Android 12 does work if you use the latest version of MetaMask from MetaMask GitHub. So there is something that is in works and it does work, but this is not the same one that you actually download from the App Store. So there's kind of like a little bit of disconnect, and we're trying to work with MetaMask, and some community members, thank goodness to them, are helping out with that, and it's moving along really, really quickly. And we've been doing some research on Unreal Engine support, and we have been successful with getting some internal stuff working with Unreal Engine. So if you're here, you're basically hearing this first, that we are able to plug in our existing tooling and to get it to work with Unreal at this very minor stage. There's no ETA on when this would be released, but I wanted to put it out there because this is something that we had in our roadmap for quite some time. And now I can say with full confidence that this is something that we're going to be moving forward to, of course, and in the future. And of course, for 2022, we want you. So if you're here and you're listening to this during this call or after, ChainSafe is always hiring. So please send your resume to any one of us. And it wouldn't be the same if there wasn't a POAP, and thank you to Mr. Tim for getting this set up for us. And I'll give you guys some time to claim your POAP for being an attendee. play the game and know that you're a human.
The POAP was also beautifully designed by myself. I'm just kidding. It's not beautiful at all. It was just something I had to throw together really quickly. But it looks like it. There's a joystick and it's video game related, so it's a nice little POAP.
Okay, and after we will repost this POAP too, so that you can do it later if you haven't done it already. Okay, and we are very fortunate to have the team at Tranquility City. The one thing that we love to do at these community calls is to give you an update, but we also love to draw in our community who are building out games and stuff with the SDK. And it kind of gives you guys to show what can really be done outside of just the tooling that we support. So I'm going to stop my sharing and then I will hand it over to the Tranquility City team. Yeah, and I guess we'll make Beaver a co-host here.
Hey guys.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you make him a co-host, Tim?
Yep. Beaver should be a co-host. I'll also make Gains, and I think you said Beancurd is also from your team,
as
right?
well.
I'll make them all co-hosts.
Okay.
All right. So to just say a few words about myself and what I'm doing on this project. In order for me to do that, I would probably have to let you know first what the project is. It's a multiplayer game. It's a social game. It's quite like Habbo Hotel or Club Penguin if you played that back in the day, but it's fully integrated in the web with the Harmony chain, and we are using the ChainSafe SDK for a number of different things, from the login to figuring out whether a user does own a particular NFT or not. We've even done minting before. I think the most complicated thing that we were able to do purely using the SDK and a contract is a literal casino. Like, we had a casino in which you could go and you could roll a dice, and if you win, you get some tokens. If you lose, you have to pay some tokens. Right now we are working on improving everything that's to do with optimization, NFTs, and everything else. I am the main game designer of this, and the others can take it and say a few words too.
Yeah, so we're using the SDK from start to finish. So from logging the players in with their MetaMask, because it's decentralized, so we're not logging in any email addresses or passwords. So we're just purely using 0x addresses to put people in the database. And then we read everything from our database, which is, of course, well, decentralized, but there's no other way, to do chat systems and do player NFTs, character NFTs, apartment NFTs, and stuff like that. So the SDK is fully integrated into the game. It's the beating heart of the game. We use it to call functions for all of the contracts that we've implemented into the game. So yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well.
Okay, I guess I can go next. So hi guys, I'm Beancurd, and that's right. We use the SDK. I haven't had direct contact with the SDK myself, apart from using it to call a few functions and get some of the NFTs for some testing. But I'm basically the guy that built the database. So everything that's coming through there, when they log in with MetaMask, it goes into our database, and we use that for storage for multiple reasons. I'm also currently working on a little chat system for our game, which hopefully has some like good functionality. And we're trying to really make this a social game. So people will be able to have a friends list and people that they can whisper to. So there's not just a general chat, but you can have like DMs in the game as well. So things like that. I also worked on like a music player in game, and I did some of the billboards. So we have like live billboards in the game for advertisement, or for example, we display like the prices of various tokens and things like that. So that is pretty much what I do. So yeah.
What makes the logging in with the MetaMask really great is that we don't touch any of the personal data of the players. So we're not logging anything aside from their 0x. And of course, you can have an infinite amount of 0x accounts that you can just create from your MetaMask. So there's really no invasion of privacy. We just know the username that they have. That's the only data we're logging into our database. The username they're choosing, which can be random.
As a side note, guys, if you want to log into to Tranquility City, there is currently no whitelist, so everybody can just log in with a Harmony. You have to be on mainnet with a Harmony MetaMask account.
I just dropped the link to our game in the chat. Make sure to add the Harmony mainnet. I will send the link to the docs as well.
Yeah. Just a little note on this one. I cannot emphasize how helpful this sort of logging is, rather than the traditional username and password. Just being able to log in, with your MetaMask address. It's just there in the browser. You have it, and then it just works. And there's no other stress like that. No need for a password. It's amazing. I really love this.
The only difficulty we faced, the only hurdle we faced, is that it's a WebGL build. So obviously we're not harnessing the full power of a full-sized GPU, CPU, we're doing everything in the browser. So you really cannot go too crazy with Unity or anything like that, because we're limited by the WebGL build. But for our type of game, it works. It works pretty well.
So what stage are you guys at currently with the development of the game?
Beaver, do you want to answer that, or should I answer that?
Let me go first, and then you can elaborate. Right now, we have, well, it's been a few months since we finished the minting process, but we have minted apartments for people, apartments and houses. The whole minting is over, and you can only find the NFTs on secondary marketplaces. We have a marketplace of our own. If you can drop it in the chat for me, Gains, please. The current state of the game is as follows. You can log into the game using your 0x address. You can see your small apartments, because I've been working on an instance housing system. You cannot yet teleport to it, but you can see your houses. You can see your houses in there. Apart from that, we have been running a few competitions. We had a fox hunt, so we hid about 20 foxes on the whole map, and we had a whole event where people had to find them. First ones who found them got a few tokens. We are working on play to earn implementations, and Gains can elaborate further on this.
So we're going to have in the upcoming 1 or 2 weeks a play to earn components, the first one in the game, which is going to be the players tending to their plants. So you'll be staking your plants on your apartments, and you will be able to earn rewards if your plants stay alive, which is a cute little game. We've made it phone compatible as well, so people will just be able to use their phones if they're on the go or at work or something like that. And the greatest part about the WebGL build, that's why we actually chose the WebGL path, is that you can execute transactions directly in your browser using MetaMask. So that's what we've also done. Everything that you can, walk around the city, and we have a full-sized partnership building with all the partners that we have for the project. you can just go to their respective floors and interact with the NPCs, and the transactions can be executed directly into our game. So there's no middleman, there's no database integration in the middle. There's just pure MetaMask interaction. So that's the current stage of the game.
Yeah, that's amazing. So do you guys want to give a little playthrough or a little showcase of what you guys are up to?
We can. Beaver, do you want to share your screen or should I?
I can. Give me just a second.
Yay, demo time.
I'll be logging in with you. Hopefully nothing breaks in the middle of the share screen.
Let me try logging as well.
You never know with the demo
Just a second,
gods.
guys.
The demo gods, please bless us today.
All right. Let me know when you can see my screen, guys.
Yes.
All right. So this is myself at the spawn. The spawn hasn't been finished as a 3D model, but it's probably going to be implemented tomorrow. We're going to have a huge pad here. It's going to be a little bit futuristic, and it's going to be looking a lot like Harmony.
Just one second. I see your 70 FPS on my screen, but I see like 5 FPS on Zoom. So I'm not sure if it's only me.
Yeah, no, it's because of Zoom streaming is pretty poor, I think, but yeah.
It's running extremely smoothly on my end.
Yeah, I know. I see the FPS on your screen.
Yeah, I
And
think it
there's
might just be a
0xGains.
problem with Zoom.
Yeah. I think
Oh, actually,
yeah, it looks pretty good. You can see people moving. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually fairly good.
All right. So you can see that the whole game is 3-dimensional. There's also 2 camera perspectives. So you have a top-down perspective where you can look at the world like this, and you have the full 3-dimensional perspective like this. The game also has, so remember I mentioned that we have built a marketplace for the NFTs and for everything that our project will entail. Well, the marketplace is actually accessible in the game as well. I can just, like, these are my own apartments. I have 2 Lumen on this account, 2 ones, 11 Lumen on this account. I can.
Oh,
What's that? Okay. I can see my apartments in the marketplace. I can check out. A second. I can check out other people's listings. Apart from this, we have
and everything works, by the way. Everything works. You can execute the transactions in the browser. I mean, we're not going to buy apartments now in the browser, but you get the idea.
This is the billboard that Beancurd has mentioned.
and they were just displaying some of our partners there.
We have worked on a partners building. This the big building with glass windows that you see in the horizon is a partners building, and it's gonna be filled. We currently have 3 partners. We have Artemis, we have FoxSwap, and we have Hermes, and we want to fill it all the way up to the top. What this entails is you can go into the building and there will be an NPC. You can talk to that particular NPC and it will let you access their webpage directly into our game. So if I take a look at this particular one, see, this is the Artemis page. Somebody is asking in the chat whether the game is going to be like GTA. Unfortunately not. We are not making a cops and robbers type of scenario right here. We're just making a social experiment, a social game. Unfortunately, there are no guns and no knives. I know that somebody mentioned knives. No knives. Okay, so apart from this, this is the casino that I mentioned that we have built it in the past and it had been working. We found a a pretty big problem with the security of the contract, and we put a stop until we can figure it out.
No, actually, it's not a contract security. It was a VRF security. So people could revert transactions because we were using random number generation from Solidity directly. So people could revert transactions and see the response of the contract before, the transaction being finished. So a partner from like a friend of ours found this issue. And a project was actually affected by this issue. We recently found out that Harmony has integrated the VRF on chain. So in theory, we could do the casino, but the licensing and everything for a casino is not very easy to get. So we just postponed it until we figure it out and we make sure it's secure and
everything is fine, basically.
Yeah, everything is fine.
The other components of the game. So if I take a look at this, oh no, well, I have to fix this. You're gonna have to take my word for it, but there is a button that will show you your apartment NFTs. You're gonna have to take my word for it. I'm working on it, and it's not currently working for some reason.
Someone has also asked how long it took us to come this far and with how many people working on it. We started in September, October of last year,
Yeah,
I believe. So what is that, like not even half a year or or so. It started off with 2 people. It was just Gains and Beaver at first. I joined about, actually it was me and another guy who's not on the call. We joined about a month later. So around 4 people. And then the rest of our team is the moderators, but mainly 4 developers, and yeah, 5 or 6 months or so.
honestly, it would have taken us a lot less to do what we've done so far. But it's just that we've run into nonstop issues with implementing
WebGL.
various things and WebGL, yes.
There's another thing that I haven't showed the people is the subway system. So
Oh yeah,
we have fast travel in the game, but it's not the sort of fast travel where you just click a button and you are instantly teleported there. You have to use the subway. So you have these little stations all over the map. If I enter it, you will see I will get transported to the station. In here, we have this is the same billboard from the beginning, by the way. And I can take each individual station to go to those particular places. So if I want to go to the spawn, and here I am.
what's the current player base like at the moment? It's because people don't really have a play to earn. They just log in just to chat. So that's about it. We have, I think, around 600 unique registered 0x addresses, which is
Yeah, I just checked now when I saw that question. So we have like 550 individual addresses registered in our database.
there's no limit at the moment. I think Beaver set the limit to 100, right?
The limit is 200 right now. I think the servers would break at 200 though. I'm not positive that it will last, but I think the most we had is about
20 at peak, I think.
I think 30 when we did the fox hunt.
Yeah, something like that indeed.
Yeah, we're
How
trying to
can-
incentivize people to basically log in the game more, and that's the play to earn component will come soon.
The play to earn will be a staking mechanism that you will be able to stake plants, literal plants, on your apartments that you bought. And if you take care of your plants and you keep them alive, then you will be rewarded. And depending on your rarity and DNA makeup of the plant, because plants will have DNA makeups, they will be breedable, they will be clonable as well. It's a very complex contract. Depending on all of those factors, we will earn more or less. I cannot tell you exactly how much because it's dynamically calculated and there's a lot of math going on in the background. But nothing, you won't become a millionaire, don't worry. The ROI we've calculated is going to be like 1 to 3 months. So you're not going to become a millionaire. by playing the game. That's not the point of a social game.
Hey, Gains, I have a question there. How many contracts are you interacting with, I mean, from your game?
I think around, if we also implement the plant game, I think it's going to be like 20, 30 contracts.
And you're doing everything with ChainSafe SDK, right?
Most of the things are done with ChainSafe, yeah. And we also have React spas that you saw the marketplace. That's a React spa.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually only WebGL, right? You're using the WebGL package there.
Yeah, everything you've seen is WebGL. Yeah, we're all logged in on WebGL right now.
Sounds good.
I do have a question, and I think probably like Alex Vodo and Glad here would be interested in the answer. But with like, you know, like making purchases in game for NFTs, and then, you know, you have to sign for transactions and stuff. Like, how do you find that in terms of like UX for gamers? Like, is it distracting? Like, how do you like work around having to sign?
That's a very good question. We're working on Harmony. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Harmony. It has 2-second finality. And they're working on 1-second finality. And our transactions cost like 0.001 cents or something like that. And we're handling hundreds of thousands of transactions a week. So everything is very seamless for us. We also have our own private RPC endpoint that I'm running from my validator node. So everything is running its own infrastructure.
And thank you.
Do people kind of like have to have a small amount of Harmony's currency in order to hop in and start doing those initial transactions?
Yeah, I think you need like 1, which is the token of Harmony, to do like 100, 1,000 transactions. I think something like that.
Got it. That's
Hey,
cool.
team. I've been well, for everybody who doesn't know me, I'm Giuseppe Marotta. I'm currently developing an auto chess battle game in Unity. I've been working around it for around, I don't know, 4 months of full contract development, and now I'm doing my tests using the ChainSafe SDK. So everything has been pretty good. The only observation I've just came with your question was that I am using MetaMask. I am developing my game using Polygon, and I feel like every time I started my game in landscape in landscape display, and every time I try to sync the transaction, my MetaMask is only in portrait. So you kind of lose that feeling of when you sync the transaction, because you change the overall the overall landscape. And I don't know, that's the only thing I feel it makes me feel kind of weird, switching from landscape to portrait, just because we're interacting with games. And yeah, I also even considered that I will only support portrait, because that feeling of switching modes, I mean, for me at this point feels kind of off, but I know that's nothing with you folks. I know it's MetaMask also that doesn't support it. So yeah, we're in the same boat.
It's not that intruding. I mean, it's just a pop-up. It's just, you know, from MetaMask when you want to execute a transaction, and we're used to it because we do a lot of transactions, you know, as crypto investors. So it's not that intrusive. I think people won't notice it.
I wanted to add on this UX thing, just from the gamer perspective. I mean, we are used to, because we are in crypto, from a normal gamer, so to say, it would still take the normal setup to get MetaMask set up and everything, and then configuring it to, for example, have Harmony on it and all that. And it might seem annoying, especially if you're at a casino, for example, and you want to do a lot of transactions and you want to like gamble continuously. It's a bit of it's not that smooth in terms of UX, because you have to click to sign and then approve the transactions. But that is the only kind of true decentralized way of doing it. If we were to do it like how I think other games are doing it, they kind of have their own like local or the currency in game, or like for example, they have the tokens in a database, and then the players can like cash out or like swap the game currency for real tokens, which introduces some layer of centralization when it comes to transactions. And we thought that wasn't the safest way to do things. So as far as we know, the only way to keep this going is to have those transactions pop up and you having to approve them unless something better comes up in the future. But for now.
So the way Decentraland does it is they have the mana token and they have a mirrored token, a database version of the token. And you pretty much buy mana with your mana, and you can use that mana as a game version of the token. So it's like pretty much, it's like locally saved in the database, but that, like Beancurd said, introduces a layer of centralization, also security issues. But because they're running on Ethereum, that's the only way that you can do transactions without having to wait 30 minutes for everything.
There is also the fact that this kind of project is not really marketed at your usual gamer. It's not really marketed at somebody who's never touched crypto before, because there's a lot of things that you have to know how to set up. You have to have, first of all, a MetaMask account. Then you have to know how to go to the right chain. Then you have to know how to do transactions, how to do X, Y, Z. Then you have like a lot of things that most people, they don't know where even to start. And even if you have the whole setup, so let's say, for instance, you have the whole setup from A to Z, it's still harder, and it is still a little bit more of a pain in the ass to use, because in a traditional game, any transaction is instant. It's as fast as your ping, as your latency. It's as fast as going to the database and back. That's all. But with crypto chains, it's always going to be a few seconds at the very least, which it does add a little bit of a delay, and it adds up. But then again, we are not marketing, and nobody really is marketing at traditional gamers for many reasons, but that's probably, that's what I think.
So is it fair to say like Tranquility City is aiming more at like a crypto gamer demographic than like your traditional, you know, like AAA titled games?
Yeah.
We are by no means a AAA, like by no means. I consider this an indie project. I think everybody does consider this an indie project. We don't like to call it what it is not. So we've had
it's also not a metaverse. People like to call it a metaverse, but it's not really a metaverse, because most of the things that happen here are curated by us. Because imagine we open up the billboards to people, you know what the first thing people are going to post on the billboard. So it's not really a metaverse in that sense. We don't allow people to build freely and stuff like that because we know what's going to happen. Our chat is highly censored as well because we've had incidents. So decentralization is very nice, but you know, only to a certain extent in theory, you know, because once you're fully decentralized, it's going to become the Wild West out here.
Like with that being said, but you guys do have like game mechanics that are implemented in the game. And how do you, you know, balance the, you know, the game mechanics that you're implementing in the game with the, you know, decentralized components of, you know, of being a blockchain game?
I think the most important thing to do is whenever money is concerned, you do it in a contract. So you probably should never calculate the chance of winning a token that is worth real money within a WebGL C# code. Like, it's probably not safe, and even if it would be safe, it's safer if you do it on the blockchain. This is why it's a blockchain game.
Everything, you know, it's on the ledger, it's immutable. We're not interacting with anything from a database. So all transactions happening, the play to earn, everything will be purely on the chain. And we're moving the metadata as well on the chain. and we're moving most of the things on chain if we don't need them, like NFTs and stuff like that. So that I think that's the most important part, to be honest.
And you guys are like taking that, you know, where a transaction is going through and being verified, and you're kind of adding that into the game, so there's like a buffer, so that it doesn't seem like there's, you know, a lull between, you know, a user doing an action, a transaction being verified, and then kind of going back into the game. You've kind of like built that into how, you know, players go about doing things inside of your game, I guess.
We have a lot of awaits. Let's put it that way.
Awesome.
We have a lot of awaits because Harmony is not playing nice all the time. So sometimes it's 2 seconds, sometimes it's 5 seconds. So
I think for the minting process, we did as much as 7 seconds to be sure that the transaction does go through.
That's awesome.
Someone asked, did you come across needing to access more MetaMask functions like encryption and decryption? How did you manage to access these functions? Completely utilizing ChainSafe or any other tools? We haven't played with encryption and decryption, I think, Beaver. I'm not sure, but I don't think so.
No, we haven't. There was no need to, basically. It's not everything that requires encryption would be maybe transactions, and those are done on the chain anyway. At the very least, I don't think that was necessary.
We have great music, by the way, guys. So if you want to log into the game and listen to the music, we also got great music. People love the music for some reason, so jump in and listen to it, you know, if you feel like it.
I just finished listening to the Gran Turismo 3 soundtrack all the way through again, so I'm definitely going to give it a listen.
Yeah, and you guys have a built-in like in-game music player, right? That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a radio that I built, and people can just kind of skip their songs. They can have one song on loop, and then it just constantly plays in the background. I wanted to make it like a music player, so like if somebody doesn't like a song, or if they want to listen to a song in particular, they can do that. I didn't want to just have background music that's this, you know, the same for everyone. Like I wanted to let the player to play around with that, listen to whatever they want.
Nice. It's not GTA though, not Grand Theft Auto.
It's not GTA.
Let's not call it GTA. Somebody is asking whether we do the game logics on the blockchain, and whether we use Photon for the multiplayer. So
okay, sure. So go ahead.
You take the first one, I take the second one.
Yeah. So the logics are on the blockchain for the contract. Everything, you know, metadata and all of that is on the chain. NFTs also, they're stored on IPFS, so they're decentralized. So everything is on chain, and values and attributes for NFTs also on chain.
The multiplayer SDK that we are using Mirror, and there's a very good reason for this. I personally consider that you have a lot more control over what it is you are building, because with Photon you rely on their servers, which I wasn't much of a fan of, even though like Photon is a paid service and you have to pay to rent their servers, and we have to pay to rent our server, so it comes up to the same exact price in the end. But with Mirror, having the server accessible by myself manually is, I think, much better.
I had a question. You guys are, you know, you guys did get some like funding, or you cooperated with a chain to have the release of your game. Maybe for some of the people out there that are, you know, looking to do something similar, how did you guys go about that? How was the experience with it? And, you know, how does that look going forward for you guys?
So Harmony offers grants to projects building on their chain. They have, I think, around 300 million USD in grants that they're offering to people. So that's their budget. There's a whole process of you needing to go through verification and KYC and handing in deliverables and making sure that the touch points are met. And if Harmony decides that your project is, worthy of the grant, and that if it looks serious enough, then they will offer it to you. And we got offered 50,000, which is the normal launch grant. And we have to meet a lot of deliverables, create a DAO for the project, have, I think, 1,000 users uniquely registered on the game, and stuff like that. So that's how it works. I'm pretty sure a lot of chains do that, such as AVAX and Avalanche and Phantom. They also have grants for projects building on them.
So is this project like a multi-chain project, or is it just specific to the one you guys are on right now?
So we never had any plans of going cross-chain because it might overcomplicate things. So at the moment we're natively on Harmony. And I think for the foreseeable future, we'll stay on Harmony until everything is stable and finalized, and we can safely say that we're ready to expand to another chain, but we'll see about that.
I think like we were actually talking about exactly this a couple of days, if not a week ago. I personally think that it's possible, and well, we wouldn't even try to attempt it unless the project was at the very least a roadmap finished. But I think it's possible to go cross-chain in the future, maybe. But this is by no means, it's not on our roadmap. Let's put it that way.
Just be careful with bridge security.
Yeah, that too.
No, I covered my words up. Don't worry. Like generally speaking, I have an idea on how it is we could implement it. That's all. But we are trying to make it as good as possible. So it's not worth. I don't personally think it's worth adding a lot of complexity before what you have is working properly and there are no bugs and there are no problems and things like that.
It looks like we have some more questions. How do you take rent from a gamer?
I'm not sure what that means.
I'm not sure either. Maybe they can unmute and elaborate on that. This is Tashir.
Perhaps we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, we'll move on.
While Tushar elaborates.
And Avani Patel, do you want just to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hey everyone. Yeah, just a quick question. So the work you guys are doing, looks very impressive. Just not sure if in your roadmap, if you're planning to get into metaverse, or if that's something you guys are thinking towards.
I mean, in theory, we could allow people to build in the world. It's just, I'm not sure with a team of our size if we would be able to deliver that. In theory, it's possible. I mean, the infrastructure is there for us, yeah, and we know how to do it, but I'm not sure if it would be doable with our little team.
Makes sense.
Because there's 4 full stack developers and 3 moderators, so it's not that big of a team.
Yeah, well, but you never know, right? Maybe in the future, like maybe in the near future, because right, I think in the metaverse, you guys already have NFT, you guys already have smart contracts and blockchain. So, just wanted to just curious, so I see what you're saying, probably in the future.
It's definitely something we're exploring, but we also want to keep it, for our own kind of mental health. We want to keep it grounded, so we don't want to shoot too high, like go on a full Decentraland kind of scale game, because that would be pretty crazy. Or for instance, Sandbox, which is also backed by Atari and stuff like that. So we're not that big, unfortunately, but it's definitely something we're exploring, allowing people to have more freedom in the city and kind of like getting their own billboard set up, maybe opening a little shop or something in the game. You know, you pay a fee and you have a shop in the game that you can sell NFTs in, stuff like that. You know, little simple things, but definitely not the scale of Decentraland.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
At its like I guess at its like maximum potential, like how big like can your in-game world get? I don't know if that's like an easy question to answer.
Well, I mean, as
It's not
big
infinite.
as no, it's not infinite. No, it's a city, so it's very it has boundaries, so it's surrounded by an ocean.
We can double the size, realistically speaking. We can even quadruple the size, but there is a limit to not necessarily the project, but there is a limit to WebGL. You will start getting to the point in which you have to stream data, because you get to the point where you have so much going on that WebGL just breaks. So we can do it. We could theoretically do it chunk based. But I think for now the size of the city is right. If you go from one side to the other, it does take a little while. If we feel that in the future we need to expand upon this current size and we have to add more points of interest or whatnot, we can always add a few more rows. We can always add a little bit of terrain, but there is a limit. That is not the limit of Unity, it's not the limit of Tranquility, and it is the limit of WebGL.
I see, thanks for that.
Yeah, so at this point, like what are the next steps that you guys have planned in your your roadmap? Like where are you guys going now that you have it's awesome because I've gotten to see this project kind of increment from its earliest stage to see it now, and it's amazing. I'm so glad that you guys were able to come out and show us this. But what do you guys have planned for like your next steps?
The demo gods were very graceful today, so that's pretty good. But the next step is the first component of the play to earn. So what I talked about, the planned game, that's coming in hopefully the next 2 weeks. Then Beaver is working on an instance housing to allow people to access their NFTs that they have in their wallet. So like going to your instance apartment and you can invite friends over so they can see your sick furniture and decorations. And then we will have quests, which is, I think, literally pushing the limits of everything we know about blockchain gaming, because it won't be done through contracts because it's impossible. We will have to have a middleman, which is, I'm being too technical, but we're going to have a proxy wallet that will execute transactions when a condition is met, because there's no other way. Because if you do a contract that takes a string as a private key or whatever, at the first transaction, that key will be displayed in the Explorer. So there's no way to do quests and play to earn with that component in mind unless you take it up a notch, take it to the next level. And it hasn't been done before, as far as we know, only by a few projects, maybe like big ones. So that's the end game.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hopefully you guys keep in touch with us and tell us what you guys are doing so that we can bring you back and we can just see this project just continually iterate and iterate. It's amazing.
We would love that. We would love that.
Yeah, we would love that too. Is there any more questions from the floor?
I got one question related to the specific endpoint that we are currently using for the transactions. I just want to know how are the plans for ChainSafe in the future, because I want to know like if I go through this path, I don't want to pick something that at the end, I don't know, will cost $1,000 or $2,000 to get your own address to use or whatever. I mean, since those things are not in the website, I know that you folks do a lot of job, and this is a software product, and I know you should get properly rewarded onto that. But I just want to know what are the plans for that, to be aware of the plans or my project risks also.
I didn't expect to have to try to answer that question. I don't know, Alex, do you want to take that question?
Is that on future costs of using the SDK?
Yeah. I'll let Alex jump in and answer that one.
Sure. Yeah, just real quick. I mean, the SDK is open source. We run an API server. At the moment, it's free to use. I understand that in the future, like, folks need, some sense of understanding on that. At the moment, we don't have current plans to monetize the current SDK flow. We have a series of products and services that we're developing within ChainSafe that do offer kind of like premium services for subscriptions. And we might, come to the table with stuff that's especially useful for you guys that we might charge for, because at the end of the day, we do have to keep the lights on. But for right now, like the current means of usage of the SDK, we don't expect that you guys will have to pay for that. The other bit to mention is just that, like, we're only involved in the process as a matter of convenience to get you guys the solution that you needed as quickly as possible. And we hope in the future to really allow you to take over more of the aspects of running this yourselves. So like passing more of the infrastructure onto you, giving you options to run your own custom infrastructure, whether that's with us or through another provider. So in general, look forward to more flexibility, look forward to more options and more premium stuff that, if it's really useful to you, there might be some kind of like payment model. But till then, we just want to see what you're creating, get excited about it. And yeah, we'll let you know.
Thanks, Alex. So yeah, with that being said, like, if you've seen or been a part of what we've been doing with the SDK, you can see that we've been slowly, like open sourcing more parts of it as it gets to that point. So, that's just something just to keep in mind. I think Giuseppe had a question before I jumped in.
No, I was just gonna say thanks for the answer. I already asked right now. So yeah, thanks, Alex, also.
Thank you. Thanks for using us.
Awesome. So, thank you. Is there any other questions from the floor? Any last remarks you want to give out to the Tranquility team? I'm super stoked that you guys were able to come out and show us what you're doing, and seeing this project, from the start to where it is now. Like, I'm blown away, with what you guys have been able to do, and I'm just excited to see what you guys are going to do in the future. Yeah, and if there's anybody else out there that would like to ask you guys any final questions or final thoughts before we close down this community call.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, y'all, for your time and showing us Tranquility City. I'm equally impressed. I checked out on your YouTube the first version of the game that you guys put out, and comparing to now, it's like, whoa, like a lot of work has been done. Great to see, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's totally amazing.
Thank you so much for having us, guys. The ChainSafe community is great. We feel very welcomed here.
Awesome.
And thank you for building this tool. If we had to build it ourselves, probably would have taken us a lot of time. So it's really nice to have this being facilitated for us. The whole ChainSafe SDK, I mean.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, well, I guess if there's no other questions, this was a successful part 3 of the community call. Thank you so much to Tranquility City. We'll definitely be, keeping in touch as we always have through this whole process of your game. And as I said before, you know, from the whole ChainSafe community, we're always here to help you guys out, and you guys have been great, not only with, you know, giving back to the community and showing what you guys have been doing, but you guys actually, you know, help out in the Discords and stuff like that too. So that's greatly appreciated. I want to make sure that that was, you know, sent out to there. Tim has put up the POAP link. I'm gonna try and do it again from my my screen here. It might work if I do it this way.
Let me know if it's not working. Apparently, I only see the 1 of 30 codes claimed. So if y'all are having trouble claiming, then I might need to do a little bit of troubleshooting.
Okay.
And because it'd be awkward if they said it themselves. Thank you guys so much, Kwame and Tim, because you guys rock. Thank you for putting this in the community to be able to chat.
Awesome. Well, I guess that's going to be, I guess that's it. What do you say, Tim? Close up shop?
Yeah. I think that's it.
I think Tim froze a bit.
All right, I'll stop the recording.
I'm trying to find where my Zoom is. I can't see it.
Oh.
Okay, there we are.
There you are.
Yeah. Let me know.
Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to stop the record.